Your brain is being rewired right now, and you don't even realize it. Every time you pick up your phone to check Instagram, every time you binge-watch another Netflix series, every time you scroll through TikTok for just 5 minutes that turns into 2 hours, you're not just wasting time. You're physically restructuring the neural pathways in your brain. Scientists using brain imaging technology have discovered something terrifying. People who spend more than 5 hours daily on phones and social media show brain changes remarkably similar to people with cocaine addiction. Same regions affected, same dopamine dysregulation, same compulsive behavior patterns. Your phone is literally rewiring your brain's reward system, and the consequences are devastating. Let me tell you about Marcus. 2 years ago, he was a high-performing software engineer. Sharp mind, great focus, constantly learning. Then he noticed something changing. He'd sit down to code and couldn't concentrate for more than 10 minutes without checking his phone. Reading technical documentation felt impossible. His brain would wander after 2 paragraphs. Tasks that used to take him 2 hours were taking 6 because he kept getting distracted. He'd start his workday exhausted even after 8 hours of sleep. His relationships were suffering because he couldn't hold a conversation without glancing at his screen. He felt anxious, unfocused, and couldn't figure out why his brain had stopped working properly. Marcus assumed he was burnt out or developing ADHD. He considered seeing a psychiatrist for medication. Then he discovered research on what screens and social media actually do to the brain, and everything clicked into place. He wasn't broken. His brain had been hijacked by technologies specifically engineered to exploit his neurology. Within 3 months of implementing strategies to counteract this, his focus returned. His energy came back. His anxiety dropped dramatically. He realized he'd been living at maybe 30% of his cognitive capacity, and hyperstimulation was the culprit. Here's what most people don't understand. Companies like Meta, Google, ByteDance, and Netflix employ the world's top neuroscientists and behavioral psychologists. Their job isn't to make products that improve your life. It's to make products that keep you engaged as long as possible, by any means necessary. These platforms use sophisticated algorithms based on cutting-edge brain research to manipulate your dopamine system, hijack your attention, and keep you scrolling, watching, clicking. This isn't conspiracy theory. Former employees have publicly confirmed this. Internal documents have been leaked showing exactly how these systems work. The average person now spends 5 to 7 hours daily on screens. That's 1/3 to nearly half of all waking hours. If we spent that much time doing anything else, we'd expect it to change us. If you spent 5 hours daily lifting weights, your body would transform. If you spent 5 hours daily learning piano, you'd become an expert. Well, when you spend 5 hours daily being hyperstimulated by engineered content, your brain transforms too. The question is, into what? If you want to understand what's really happening to your brain and how to protect yourself from these technologies, hit that subscribe button right now. I post videos every week breaking down the neuroscience of modern life and giving you practical strategies to reclaim your mind. This information could literally save your cognitive function. Don't miss it. Now let's dive into exactly what phones, Netflix, and social media are doing to your brain. Your brain has a system called the dopamine reward pathway. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical like people think. It's the motivation and desire chemical. It makes you want things. When you do something your brain perceives as beneficial for survival, reproduction, or status, dopamine gets released. You feel motivated to repeat that behavior. This system evolved over millions of years to help us survive. It worked perfectly in our ancestral environment. But social media and streaming platforms have figured out how to hack this system. Every notification, every like, every new video in your feed triggers a small dopamine release. These platforms use what's called variable ratio reinforcement, the same psychological principle that makes slot machines so addictive. Sometimes you get a big reward, sometimes small, sometimes nothing. Your brain never knows what's coming next, so it stays in a constant state of anticipation. This is the most powerful form of behavioral conditioning ever discovered. Dr. Anna Lemke, a psychiatrist at Stanford who specializes in addiction, explains that our brains try to maintain homeostasis. When you repeatedly spike your dopamine with social media, your brain compensates by reducing dopamine receptors and increasing dopamine metabolism. This is called down-regulation. You need more stimulation to feel the same effect. Things that used to feel rewarding, like reading, conversation, or nature, no longer generate enough dopamine to feel satisfying. You've raised the bar so high that normal life can't compete. The attention destruction. But dopamine manipulation is just the beginning. These technologies are literally shortening your attention span by rewiring your prefrontal cortex. Research from Microsoft found that the average human attention span dropped from 12 seconds in the year 2000 to 8 seconds in 2013. Goldfish have 9-second attention spans. We're now worse than goldfish, and it's getting worse. Dr. Gloria Mark at the University of California studied how often people switch tasks while working. In 2004, the average person would focus on a single screen for 2.5 minutes before switching. By 2012, it was 75 seconds. Recent studies show it's now down to about 47 seconds. Your brain is being trained to expect novelty and stimulation every 47 seconds. When it doesn't get it, you feel restless and uncomfortable. This isn't just about attention span. Brain imaging studies show that heavy social media users have reduced gray matter in the regions of the brain responsible for decision-making, emotional regulation, and impulse control. The same regions affected by cocaine addiction. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that makes you human, that allows you to plan, focus, and control impulses, is physically shrinking. The anxiety and depression epidemic. The mental health statistics are devastating. Since 2010, when smartphones became ubiquitous, rates of anxiety, depression, and suicide among teenagers have skyrocketed. Dr. Jonathan Haidt, a social psychologist at NYU, has compiled overwhelming evidence linking smartphone and social media use to the mental health crisis in young people. Girls are particularly affected. Hospital admissions for self-harm among teenage girls have increased by 62% in countries where smartphone adoption happened quickly. The mechanism is clear. Social comparison is built into social media. You're constantly seeing everyone else's highlight reel while living your behind the scenes. Your brain interprets this as you're falling behind, you're not good enough, everyone else is happier and more successful. This triggers the same stress response as actual social rejection. The memory destruction. Your phone is destroying your memory, and I can prove it. When was the last time you actually remembered a phone number? Most people can't remember their own partner's or parent's number because their phone remembers for them. But it's much deeper than that. Scientists call this cognitive offloading. When you know you can look something up instantly, your brain doesn't bother encoding it into long-term memory. Why would it? The information is always available. Dr. Betsy Sparrow at Columbia University conducted studies showing that when people know they can access information later on a computer, they're significantly less likely to remember the information itself. Instead, they remember where to find it. Your brain is becoming a collection of shortcuts to information rather than a repository of knowledge. This fundamentally changes how you think. But the damage goes deeper. Memory consolidation happens during downtime when your brain isn't receiving input. It happens when you're bored, when you're spacing out, when your mind wanders. Every time you pull out your phone during a spare moment, you're interrupting this process. You're preventing your brain from moving information from short-term to long-term memory. Students who take notes on laptops retain less information than students who write by hand, not because writing is magical, but because laptops tempt you to multitask and divide attention. The deep work extinction. Cal Newport, a computer science professor at Georgetown, coined the term deep work to describe focused, cognitively demanding work without distraction. This is the type of work that creates real value and builds real skill. It's also becoming extinct. Newport's research shows that most knowledge workers now achieve less than 1 hour of deep work per day. The rest is shallow work, administrative tasks, constant context switching. Your brain has two modes: focus mode, where you concentrate on a specific task, and diffuse mode, where your mind wanders and makes connections between ideas. You need both. Deep learning and creativity require long periods in focus mode followed by diffuse mode processing. But when you're constantly stimulated, you never enter either state properly. You're stuck in a fragmented, scattered state that's neither focused nor restful. The ability to do deep work is becoming a superpower because so few people can do it anymore. Companies are desperate for employees who can focus for 4 hours straight and produce high-quality, creative output. But most people can't. Their brains have been rewired by hyperstimulation to expect interruption and novelty every few seconds. The creativity. Death boredom is essential for creativity. Your best ideas come in the shower, on walks, during mundane tasks. Why? Because that's when your default mode network activates. This is the brain network that activates when you're not focused on external stimuli. It makes unexpected connections, generates new ideas, solves problems you've been stuck on. But it only activates during unstimulated time. When you eliminate every moment of boredom by filling it with phone use, you eliminate the conditions necessary for creativity and insight. You're constantly consuming content created by others instead of generating your own ideas. You become a passive consumer instead of an active creator. Your inner world becomes empty because you never spend time there. Sarah, a marketing director, noticed she'd stopped having original ideas. Every campaign she pitched felt derivative. Then she started taking daily phone-free walks. Within 2 weeks, ideas started flowing again. She realized she'd been starving her brain of the boredom it needed to be creative. The reset protocol, here's what you need to do. I call it the 30-day brain reset. For 30 days, you're going to dramatically reduce hyperstimulation and allow your brain to recalibrate. Delete social media apps from your phone. Not just log out. Delete them! If you need social media for work, access it only on a computer for scheduled 30-minute blocks. Remove Netflix and streaming apps from your phone. Cancel one streaming service to reduce temptation. Use your phone only for essential functions: calls, texts, maps, calendar. Install app blockers to enforce these limits. Every single day for 30 days, spend at least 1 hour in intentional boredom. No input, no stimulation. Go for walks with no podcast. Exercise with no music. Sit and do nothing. Let your mind wander. The first week will be uncomfortable. Your brain will scream for stimulation. That's withdrawal. That's your dopamine system recalibrating. Push through. By week 2, you'll start feeling different. Your attention span will begin extending. By week 3, you'll notice yourself able to read for longer periods. By week 4, you'll feel like your brain is waking up from a long sleep. The environmental design. After your reset, maintain these changes with environmental design. Never keep your phone in your bedroom. Buy an alarm clock. Charge your phone in another room at night. Create phone-free zones in your home. The dining table is sacred. No phones during meals. Your bedroom is sacred. No screens 1 hour before bed. Your workspace is protected. Phone in a drawer during deep work sessions. Replace hyperstimulation with genuine engagement. Join a sport or hobby that requires presence. Learn an instrument. Take up drawing or writing. Read physical books. Have real conversations. Spend time in nature. These activities feel boring at first because your baseline is so elevated. But as your brain recalibrates, they become genuinely satisfying again. The stakes, let me be clear about what's at stake here. Your cognitive capacity, your creativity, your ability to focus, your mental health, your relationships, your sense of meaning and purpose. All of these are being eroded by hyperstimulation. The technology companies profit while your brain pays the price. They've figured out how to monetize your attention by destroying your ability to control it. But you have a choice. You can continue down this path and watch your cognitive function decline year by year. Or you can fight back, reclaim your brain, restore your attention, rebuild your capacity for deep thought and genuine connection. Your challenge. Start the 30-day brain reset tomorrow. Delete your social media apps right now. Not later, now. Comment below which app you're deleting first. This creates accountability. If this video opened your eyes to what's really happening, hit that like button so more people can escape the hyperstimulation trap. Subscribe because I'm posting strategies every week to help you reclaim your mind in a world designed to steal it. Your brain is the most valuable thing you own. These technologies are degrading it for profit. It's time to take it back. Start tomorrow. Your future self will thank you.